finding out just before we went on the air that Joe Girardi is getting the Philly job. I'm just completely aggravated. I got to tell you, bro. I mean, what are the Mets doing? And not only did they not hire the obvious guy and a guy that basically the entire fan base wanted to be to manage the team, but they lose him to a division rival. I mean, it's.
Well, first of all, let me set the record straight since no one else wants to do it on Twitter. The guy who had this story first is actually our buddy John Boy, who we've had on a couple of times. He tweeted this late last night, and I actually trust him. Yes. So when I went to bed last night,
you knew already.
I knew because actually
you had a rough night. You had a rougher night than than I did.
Well, I did, but I told myself this: it's one of 82.
I expected the Knicks to lose, so I wasn't like.
With all of that said, I went to bed last night more annoyed about the Joe Girardi situation than one game of 82. All right, Nets did plenty of things wrong. Maybe we'll address it later.
Right.
But I'm not panicking. Not quite yet. Lose to the Knicks Friday, I'll panic, all right?
Well, yeah.
Then I'll freak out.
I understand.
But this is the only guy I wanted to have manage this team. Not because it wins the news cycle, not because it makes 85% of Met fans happy, but because despite what some Yankee fans think, not all, but some, Joe Girardi is a very good manager.
No question.
That's what he is. I sit around and I watch every Met game, but I also watch every Yankee game. And if a Yankee manager screws up, I'll be the first to say it. And I thought it was a mistake that the Yankees got rid of him 2 years ago, but obviously Aaron Boone's done okay, all right?
He's done okay.
He's done all right. A couple of 100-win seasons, it's not bad. And so what I saw, Joe, is what I think every Met fan saw. Not winning the news cycle, not trying to be popular, but here's a guy that's A, a good manager. Okay, A, he's a good manager. B, probably wants to come here and manage for 15 years. He's not going to get burned out after 5.
Right.
A guy who knows what it's like to deal with asses like me and you and Francesa and everybody else in this city because he managed here. And yes, he's won a championship. So with all due respect to Joe Espada and Carlos Beltran and Eduardo Perez and Tim Bogar and whoever else you want to come up with, to me at least as a Met fan, this was a one-man race.
No doubt.
It needed to be him. It was a slam dunk. And as far as I'm concerned, there were 2 reasons, and they're unacceptable reasons, why Joe Girardi is not the manager of this team. Number one's the obvious. It's money. It's money.
Of course.
And number 2, and I'm sick of hearing about money because plenty of Met fans spend our money to go to games. So don't act like $4 million for a manager is the end of the world. And the second thing is, and this is all about Brodie Van Wagenen. What the hell has he done as a general manager?
Yep.
Quite frankly.
Yeah, right.
He's been here for 1 year, and the reason the Mets had any success this past year is because of Sandy Alderson. That's right. And even Omar Minaya, by the way, if you want to go back further.
Of course.
Okay, this is the guy who orchestrated the Robinson Cano Edwin Diaz trade. That's what he did. This guy thinks he's so freaking smart. He thinks he's so utterly brilliant.
Of course
because
he does.
negotiates crazy contracts for a guy like Robbie Cano. And Yoenis Cespedes. Congratulations, you outsmarted bad management. Good for you. Well, guess what you are now? You're bad management. And you want to hire someone you can control? Look, that annoys me when Cashman does it, but guess what? Brian Cashman's smarter than you. Brian Cashman's won something in this town. So that I have a tough time accepting,
and here's the other thing, too, and this is what really gets me. This ticks me off, too. And I mentioned about, the 85% of the fan base wanted Joe Girardi. But we're all idiots, We don't know anything. We're only stupid fans, right? That's which makes me crazy. You think maybe the fans might actually know something a little bit about what's going on? And God forbid the Mets ever give the fan what they want, because they never do. Never do. And it's so disgusting. It's right there. It was a layup. Girardi was the guy. I'm sure he wanted the Met job. Everything you said about being in New York, the whole thing. He managed the Yankees for, 10 years? How many years did he manage the Yankees, bro? It's a long time. How many, right?
Yeah.
Like 10 years. Like you said, he won a world championship.
First year was 08, and 17 was his last. So,
Right.
There you go.
Right. He won a world championship with the Yankees, but knows how to deal with the media here. Nah, we can't do that. We're going to show how smart we are. And let's be honest, too. Not being able to control Girardi.
That's it.
That's it.
How are they going to
couldn't
explain
control
that?
him.
How is
That's
Brodie
it.
Van
We can't
Wagenen
control the guy. You think maybe Joe Girardi? Hey, Brody, you think maybe Joe Girardi knows a little more baseball than you do?
You think so?
You think so?
I think so.
Just a little bit more than Brodie Van Wagenen in his $2,000 suits and his slick back hair. You think maybe he knows a little more than you do? Please, give me a break.
Well, now, this is all on the genius, the baseball savant that is Brody Van Wagenen. Okay?
Yep.
You made some okay moves. J.D. Davis was a fine move. I like that. I'm okay with that. That was a good move.
Right.
But a lot of your first offseason was really bad. Really bad. And now you've got to pick a manager. And as angry as I am today, I'm true to my word. When they hire a new manager, you and I and every Met fan, we're going to give him a fair shot because it's a manager. It's not a head coach in the NFL. I understand that. But the anger I have last night, the anger I have this morning is that it infuriates me, and you put it best, that there is something so obvious and so easy right in front of you.
Right. That would excite the fan base.
Yes.
That would actually get the fans know we're not getting any big free agent. We know that. You're not spending money on Anthony Rendon or Josh Donaldson or any of these guys. We get that.
Or Zach Wheeler.
Right. Or Zach Wheeler, of course.
Go smaller.
Right. I forgot about it. Our own guy, of course.
Right. We know this.
So here's something that the fan, wow, man, pumped up. We would have been pumped up today. If the news was today, Joe Girardi's the manager of the Mets, we're all like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they did. Oh, how about that? They actually did the right thing.
You know what it would do?
But of course not. Why would you do that?
Here's what it would do.
Why would you do that?
When we get to 2020, okay, I know what you're going to say. I know what I'm going to say. When we preview the Mets, we're going to say, hey, if this goes right, that goes right.
How many years have we done that?
Every year. We do it.
We do it every year.
Sometimes it goes right, like 2015.
Sometimes.
To a degree, 2016, but not really.
Right.
Sometimes it goes right. Sometimes it doesn't. The one thing I didn't want to have to say when we're doing shows in March is questions about, well, we'll find out if this manager's any good. I didn't want to do that. And we're going to have to do that. We were not going to have to do that if they hired Joe Girardi.
No doubt.
That doesn't mean that Brody, who's done a lot wrong, probably a D+ in his first year as GM, doesn't mean he may pick the right guy. Maybe he's going to pick the right guy. Maybe we're all wrong and Eduardo Perez is the next Connie Mack. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe Tim Bogar is John McGraw reincarnated.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I have no idea. But I didn't want to go into a season with questions, and one of those questions being, hey, does the manager know what he's doing? Is the manager going to put the right lineup card together a la Mickey Callaway? We are going to have to do that with any first-time manager. Now, is it possible they hire Buck Showalter? Probably not, considering, Joe, they're not even interviewing him.
No, there's not hiring him. That's somebody just said to me, maybe that's the bombshell. They're not even talking to the guy. They're not hiring. If they weren't going to hire Girardi, there's no way to hire Showalter.
No.
Let's be honest.
And honestly,
about
I don't believe there really is a bombshell. I don't buy it.
No, I think that's all just out there. Let's put that out there.
And here's the other thing: what you or someone in the Met organization may consider a bombshell, we may not consider a bombshell.
Right.
That's the other thing.
Well, that's true
so
too.
I'm not implying that it's made up.
Right.
I'm just saying that what one sees as a bombshell, you and I may see as just a bomb.
Right.
Not really a bombshell.
Just a disaster.
And so I don't know who the Mets should hire because I was with one guy, Joe. That was it. I was with Joe Girardi. Joe or die. That's it. And now as I sit here, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted the guy, and now he's in Philly of all places.
Yeah, I know. That makes it even worse because we got to see him against us 19 times a year. That makes it even worse that he winds up with the Phillies. But they know better. The Mets and all their championships over the years, they know better. They do. What can I tell you?
So who do you want, Beltran?
That's the only guy. I don't want – look, I mean, am I thrilled with Beltran? No. I mean, is he going to excite me? No. But Beltran only from the standpoint that I have familiarity with him and the fact that he actually says the only team I'll manage is the Mets. No, so that gives me something.
Cashman likes him. I get all that.
All of that.
I got to be honest. I look at all of these candidates now. As I try to get past Girardi, I have to live in the reality that Girardi is not going to be the manager of the Mets. He's going to manage the Phillies.
Yep.
I look at all these candidates. I look at Eduardo Perez. I look at Carlos Beltran, who I loved as a player. I need to preface that.
Okay.
I look at Tim Bogar. I look at all of them. And you know what? What's the difference? Seriously, what the hell is the difference? We don't know about any of these guys as a manager.
No, you're right. There is no difference. If you're going to hire one of Derek Shelton or Joe Espada, I don't even know.
You know what they all have in common, actually?
I have no idea. Skip Schumacher.
Right.
I mean, really.
They all have one important thing in common.
Yeah, I know.
Brody Van Wagenen is really the manager.
Right.
And Jeff Wilpon,
exactly.
too,
You know what? So, Brody, if you really – why don't you just put the uniform on?
Yeah, come on down.
Brody. Maybe that's the bombshell. We said it yesterday. Why don't you, because you're so smart, you know the deal. We know. You're a smarter baseball man than Joe Girardi. Of course we know that. Why don't you put the freaking uniform on and come down and manage? Let's see how you do. This way you don't have to worry that maybe when you're giving orders from on high, that your manager might screw it up. How about that?
No.
There you go.
Cut out the liaison.
That's
just
all.
manage the team
Just
yourself.
put the uniform on and let's go, Brody.
But that's what we are looking at. Whether it is Beltran, whether it is Espada or Perez or Bogar or whatever bomb or bombshell you have, the manager of the New York Mets is Brody Van Wagenen and crew.
Yep, of course.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
And again, I get that.
And the GM is really the Wilpon.
Sure, and Jeff Wilpon.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jeff Wilpon's the GM, Brody's the manager.
And I guess that's the difference between the New York Yankees and the New York Mets. As much as you can say whatever you want to say about Hal Steinbrenner and even Randy Levine and whomever, I don't think, call me crazy, they are telling Brian Cashman to tell Aaron Boone what to do. I think the GM, Brian Cashman, does have a lot to say in the lineup, in a lot of the decisions in that game plan we saw Boone have. But I think it's the baseball people doing it.
Right.
I'm not as convinced that's the case with the Mets.
No, I agree. I absolutely right. Absolutely right.
They wanted control.
Yep.
And yes, they didn't want to spend a lot.
Yep.
And the Philadelphia Phillies, and I get it, look, the Bryce Harper contract may end up looking ultimately really bad 10 years from now.
It might.
But they went out and they didn't mess around.
Nope.
They have been a colossal disappointment the last couple of years. Their ownership has spent a lot of money.
Right.
And they said, you know what? We made a mistake with Gabe Kapler.
Right.
We screwed up.
Surprised the Mets don't hire him.
That's Gase.
Right. That would be right. That would be like the Jets hiring Adam Gase.
It's the same thing, yeah.
Let's hire Gabe Kapler.
But to the Phillies' credit, they said, let's not mess around. On the other hand, assuming the Mets hire a first-time guy, which I think they will, based on who they've been interviewing, they're messing around. They are playing, the Russian roulette. They are messing around with a first-time manager where, hey, maybe it'll work out great. I'm open-minded. It could be John McGraw. Okay, it could be Leo DeRocher. I don't know. But there's also a chance it's going to be Mickey Callaway again.
Yep.
And so I'll get over it. You'll get over it. We'll give the new manager a shot. But in this morning, it sucks.
Of course.
That's the bottom
Just
line.
another disappointment in what has been, and certainly for me, and I know with the loss last night for you and that team, a very disappointing week. In certainly in our sports world.
Yeah. Not fun.
Nope.
Not fun.
Nope.